On the auspicious occasion of Mahashivratri, a historic revelation has been made by the spiritual guru Sri Ravi Shankar. The ancient Somnath Jyotirlinga, believed to have been lost for a millennium, has resurfaced, marking a monumental moment in India's spiritual heritage. The Somnath Jyotirlinga, which was located in Saurashtra, Gujarat, was the first among the 12 Jyotirlingas in India. Ancient scriptures describe it as extraordinary, as it was said to levitate 2 feet above the ground, defying the very principles of gravity. In 1025 CE, Mahmud of Ghazni invaded India and plundered the Somnath temple, shattering the Jyotirlinga into pieces. Devotees were devastated, but fragments of the sacred linga were secretly salvaged by a lineage of the Agnihotri Brahmins. These fragments were then carried to South India, where they were worshipped in secrecy for generations to come, preserving the divine energy of Lord Shiva. For centuries, the Agnihotri Brahmins continued to worship these fragments, adhering to ancient Shiva Agama traditions. Now, the knowledge of the Jyotirlinga's preservation was passed down through generations, culminating in the hands of Sitaram Shastri, who safeguarded it for 20 long years, awaiting the right time for its reinstallation. In 1924, Saint Sri Pranavendra Saraswati presented the sacred fragments to Kanchi Shankaracharya Swami Chandrasekharendra Saraswati. Now, the Shankaracharya prophesied that the Jyotirlinga would remain hidden for 100 more years before it would be reinstated. True to this very prophecy, the Jyotirlinga emerged in the year 2024 under the guidance of the present Kanchi Shankaracharya and the blessings of Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar. In January 2025, the sacred Somnath Jyotirlinga was brought to the Art of Living International Centre in Bengaluru. Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar unveiled the Jyotirlinga before thousands of devotees, demonstrating its unique magnetic properties. Scientific studies in the year 2007 had revealed that the Jyotirlinga possesses extraordinary magnetic properties with low iron content, defying the very conventional principles of physics. Now, after 1,000 years, the original Somnath Jyotirlinga is now set to return to its home in Gujarat. Before its consecration, the Jyotirlinga will be embarking on a spiritual journey across India, visiting all 12 Jyotirlingas, including Rameshwaram, to offer devotees the opportunity to seek blessings. A 40-day purification ritual known as Kala Karshan will be performed according to the Shiva Agama traditions, preparing the Jyotirlinga for its final consecration. The Mahashivratri celebrations at the Art of Living Ashram in February 2025 was a historic event featuring the divine presence of the Somnath Jyotirlinga. The return of the Somnath Jyotirlinga is not just a spiritual event, but a cultural and historical milestone, reconnecting India with its ancient roots and divine heritage. This, in fact, is a particular story that we bring to you right at the top of this bulletin, one which, in fact, takes us back 1,000 years when Mahmud of Ghazni had, in fact, completely destroyed the Jyotirlinga while he had raided the very temple. But now it has come to light that a lineage of Agnihotri Brahmins, in fact, had preserved these very fragments over years, worshipping them in secrecy, and post which it is now at the Art of Living Centre in Bengaluru, from where it will, in fact, be taken to Saurashtra. With that, let me cut across to our colleague, Mohammad Wajiola, to, in fact, give us more details and share more insights on this very story. Waji, very good morning to you. A rather auspicious occasion that we are speaking of this very story on. You know, the importance of this very Jyotirlinga, as we were speaking of, and as Sri Ravi Shankar himself was mentioning, the magnetic properties of this very Jyotirlinga, because it is known to have defied the principles of gravity. If you could just take us through some of the details of this very Jyotirlinga before we get into the depths of the 1,000-year journey that in fact has taken place post that. Well, we'll try and in fact get back with our colleague Mohammad Wajiullah to understand this and him to bring us more updates as to how the entire 40-day ritual will pan out, where all the fragment is to be taken, where all this very Jyotirlinga is to be taken before it is reinstated in the Somnath temple. Now, among the 12 Jyotirlingas that we are speaking of, out of which one of them is this very Jyotirlinga, which was a part of the Somnath temple, from the Himalayas to Rameshwaram and Baidyanath to Gujarat, the first is the Somnath Jyotirlinga in Saurashtra, which is why it holds such great significance. Ancient scriptures were the ones which had described the Somnath Shivlinga as extraordinary, as it never touched the ground. It always used to be suspended in midair and used to defy the principles of gravity. It was in 1026 AD when Muhammad Ghazni came to India and was mesmerized by this levitating Jyotirlinga. He plundered the temple, shattered the Shivalinga to pieces, and it was then believed that these pieces were completely lost forever. And India our nation then had lost one of its major cultural heritage and also one which also had great religious significance. It was completely lost forever. However, the lineage of the Agnihotri Brahmins that we are speaking of, they were the ones who secretly preserved some of these fragments, and then they had carried them from Saurashtra to South India, specifically to the state of Tamil Nadu, and made smaller lingams out of them. Now, for centuries, they continued to worship this in secrecy with reverence and adherence to the scriptures. Now, we are in fact quoting these lines from a very revolutionary article that's been written by Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar right ahead of Mahashivratri, on the auspicious occasion of Mahashivratri, and this is the latest that we bring to you, a momentous occasion for the country.